Thanks for joining again, Gigi's Beauty Compound. Today we are going to do an immersive artistic experience, the Van Gogh immersive experience. We're going to do a couple of shots for you guys, a few videos, and I hope you enjoy. So this is my favorite painting in the entire world, The Starry Night. And of course, you know, completed and done by the wonderful, amazing Impressionist painter Vincent van Gogh. And it was done in June of 1889. Woohoo! June is my birthday month. Yay! So, unfortunately, something that I learned about Van Gogh was he actually completed this masterpiece while he was in an east-facing window of an insane asylum. It was a room at St. Rene de Provence, and he just wanted to capture the sunrise with the addition of what he may call, you know, an imaginary village. I personally think that this painting represented his mental state at the time, you know, him really desiring to grasp for the light, but also having that juxtaposition of the darkness that also dwelled inside of his mental state. And I think this painting represented him wanting to be free, you know, and have a balance, a mental balance and inner peace. Because I don't know about you guys, but every time I look at even a depiction of this painting, The Starry Night, I feel a peace, a serenity. And it also reminds me of just a very peaceful, heavenly feeling, you know, of what heaven must feel like, complete serenity, you know, surrounded by brightness and light and all of these amazing, you know, spectacular colors. I also think that the village can represent him desiring to have that human interaction. I have heard, you know, from, you know, some people who have experienced some forms of mental challenges that you can, you know, be surrounded, you know, in a room full of people, but still feel all alone. And you can also feel that with this painting, you know, even showing how big the night sky is and how, you know, seemingly small the village is. So I think, you know, at this time, that's how he felt, you know, internally, that, you know, the world around him, you know, seemed big and maybe he seemed small, or even him wanting to or desiring to have that wholeness and that human interaction, you know, without the mental turmoil that he was experiencing. Now, this section was a room where literally it immersed you inside of his masterpieces, and he was heavily influenced by a lot of Japanese master artists and painters. And so here you can see he has depicted, you know, the Japanese fan. Some of his art, you know, show different, you know, animals and, you know, just different things that would be something that you would see prevalent, you know, in Japanese culture. And I just think it was just wonderful, you know, paying homage to those masters in his works. And I'm just, you know, just really, you know, just having a moment of just being, just the breathtaking, you know, moment of being inside of my favorite painting. Like, you know, really seeing his paint strokes and, you know, how, you know, those things were really depicted on the canvas. And then here you have the representation of the Japanese almond tree. And I did read that Van Gogh was heavily influenced by nature and the beauty of nature and things that he saw and things that were around him. And this moment, it just made you feel like the trees were just, you know, the leaves from the blossoms were just falling on you in a most, you know, magnificent way. And this section is just showing a lot of his different, you know, paintings. You know, he loved to paint irises and sunflowers, you know, village people and, you know, people that he just came across throughout his life. And here, you know, it's just a self portrait of him, you know, clean shaven. You know, I just thought that that was really powerful to have that in the center of the room. And you can see all of the people just kind of in awe. Everyone was just sitting there in silence, just, you know, really just taking in everything. And of course, this is another depiction of his Japanese art. And here, I loved the section of the exhibit where they took some of his paintings and turned them into a 3D art exhibit. So you really could see like his paint strokes and colors he used, and how he recreated even the room that he lived in prior to him going to the asylum, and different things that he saw in Paris. And I just thought it was magnificent. And here, it just showed, train smoke. And I thought that was really powerful because it was everything to me, and his work was a message. And I was able to really get a lot out of it. You know, even how I learned that he, at one point in his life, he wanted to go to seminary. He was a preacher's kid, and he wanted to go to seminary because he wanted to have a greater impact on helping, the sick and poor and disenfranchised. But, his life took him in a different direction, and he just became a master painter. But unfortunately, he was very troubled and turmoiled, in his life. But of course, we're thankful that he was able to display those things, on canvas, to try to give himself some type of, mental relief. These are just some more images of how he loved to depict nature. How nature makes all of us feel. Like if you're walking in a field of sunflowers and trees, and the wind, just lightly touching your face and blowing your hair, you feel very serene and at peace among nature. And I think his art definitely makes you feel that way when you look, at his pieces you know, um, even here, just being surrounded by people, but everyone was on one accord. It was a very peaceful, serene experience. And I can definitely say that everyone in that particular room, we all felt it. We were all in awe of his work and how it just makes you feel. Art is supposed to make you feel exuberant and free and give you a sense of peace and hope and wholeness. I know that's how art makes me feel. It just really takes me in when I attend like art exhibits or an art museum. You know, um, I just absolutely love it. And when I lived in Chicago, that was a often a pastime that I had, just visiting an art museum, just to have moments of self-reflection and peace, and even recharging my own creativity. So here is a depiction of part of the exhibit of an actual like storm. And I loved how the rain made you feel like you were being rained on, the way that they set up the that particular section of the exhibit. And it was just so peaceful because it's like you weren't getting wet, but you felt like you were. And I just highly recommend, taking the time to enjoy life, enjoy art, recharge your creativity, because artists connect with other artists, and we recharge and we influence each other. And what a great way to be influenced than by looking at one of the, greatest artists of all time. It was really beautiful. And, you know, also, I loved, I chose to dress that day, in a very colorful piece, just as a self expression of my artistry. Besides being a licensed esthetician, I'm also a professional dancer, dance instructor, singer, and I'm a huge art enthusiast. So just moments like this just really help to recharge you and help you to self reflect, and even a charge, to get back on what you love to do. If you are a creator, you must create, because I think it was something that I read that Van Gogh said, like, if you're not obedient to producing your art, the voice of God will get silent. And I don't know if any of you have ever had writer's block or any of those moments where you felt like God's voice was silent. And a lot of times it's just God expressing for you to obey the last thing He told you to do. So, in regards to creating, you have to get those ideas out of you, or it literally can feel like it's going to explode or suffocate you. So, this was a very extraordinary moment inside of the exhibit where it was just like a lot of flashes of light that were kind of streaming down the walls, and it almost made you feel like you were among a field of light lanterns, if that makes any sense. It was just breathtaking. And then it showed, his quotes as well on the wall. We were reading those as we were going along, and, looking at the different pieces. So it was just another moment of, just being in awe of art. I highly recommend that you purchase your tickets and take a part of it. So once again, you guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ding that notification button. Thank you guys so much for joining me on my Van Gogh immersive experience here in Atlanta, Georgia. And I can't wait for you guys to join me on my next video. Feel free to leave a comment, and I love to read you guys' comments. And thank you, ladies and gents, for joining me once again. On behalf of Gigi's Beauty Compound, I want to say thank you guys for joining me in this experience. And I'll see you, ladies and gents. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.